Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Talking Trikes. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking to another special guest, one of quite high, I would say, reputation in both pedal prix as well as cycling. But first, what's been going on in the week, Kyle? Has there been any changes in the community or anything else in general?
I know that in Victoria, they're still going through a hard time entering their start of their, stage 2, I suppose. It's stage 4, but their second time, going into lockdown. So tough time down there for all the Vics living in the Melbourne metro area. And we'll see if they can conjure up something with some training or something in the community down there to keep the spirits up. But yeah, it's not good, but we're just doing what we can to stay positive. So how have you been going, Darcy? You've been doing okay?
Yeah, we've been doing fine. We're starting to get a couple cases, unfortunately, but I think the government's on it pretty well. Something that has happened was Victoria Park, which is obviously a main venue for pedal prix and pedal prix training, has actually been turned into a massive testing site. So no more training for a lot of people who wanted to still get out on the trike, unfortunately. But it is what it is. They're still trying to obviously squash this virus. But so what's happening in Queensland, man? I've heard that there's some borders being locked.
Yeah, so a couple of females lied on their declaration form and managed to come into the state, and they'd actually been into Melbourne and kind of threw a spanner in the works. And then since then, there's been a little bit here and there. I try not to actually watch the news too much.
It's pretty draining.
Just as of this weekend, our borders will be closed to New South Wales and Victoria and whatnot. So we're trying to keep on top of things as well. So yeah, it's not great times, but at least we can support Victoria in what we can, and we'll just cross for them down there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, cool. So can you tell us a bit about today's guest, Kyle? Because you seem to know him very well compared to me.
Yeah. So I have seen this guy quite a bit. I've watched him a lot. I've watched him on TV a lot, and obviously he started back in the sport a long time ago. He was an amazing pedal prix and trike rider, which we will hear about. But he actually progressed into cycling. He competed in the NRS and moving on to a pro continental team. I read through his results and it's quite impressive, but biggest was in 2013. He came second or third in the road and the crit, and then in 2014 and 15 he won the nationals criterium. But you'd have to say his biggest race highlight would be the 2018 Commonwealth Games gold medal, which was on home soil up in the Gold Coast. So today we have on our special guest, Steele Von Hoff. All right, guys, so here is Steele. Welcome to the show, mate. How are you going? How have things been where you are? You're living in Seaford in Victoria?
Yeah, we are. So we're in lockdown at the moment, but luckily I'm still able to work, and I'm able to commute to work as well. Got a little bit of a mountain bike park close to me as well. So it's still all right for me. There's a lot of people that are in far worse positions. A lot of my friends have lost their jobs as well. So times are a bit grim here at the moment, but I can understand why we're in lockdown. The numbers are getting pretty nasty. So we really need to knock this thing on the head and try and reduce those numbers, or more people will die.
Yeah, no, that's spot on, and that's correct. It's good that you can still get on the bike a little bit and you're still working, so that's all positive. So well done for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's I'm in a pretty good position. But it's my partner as well is still able to work. So yeah, happy days for us. But also, I have been noticing a big influx of people riding bikes actually around me, which is good, even though it's only for an hour, but at least a lot of people are getting out, which is nice.
Look, I can confirm that to be true, man. I work in a bike shop and we've just been obliterated by people wanting bikes. Everyone just wants bikes, which is
especially home trainers, eh?
Oh my God.
Wants to get them.
There's like none left anywhere. It is.
Yeah. I got a message today from one of my friends. He's like, hey, mate, I've got one trainer that's left. It's yours if you want it. I'm like, oh, it's $2,000 for them. And I'm like, nah, I can still go out. I can still sneak out on the road. So I got the old trusty Le Mans behind me, and yep, old Le Mans does the job.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. No, that sounds good. So diving into that, let's take us back to when you got into, you know, Trikes and pedal prix or anything back then. What do you remember, and fill us in. Let's hear it all.
Well, that was a long time ago, so my memory's not that flash. But I've recently been through my photos, and I've found a few absolute gems, actually. I first started off in year 2000 when I was riding for Manalizer Primary. And my dad actually made that trike. It was a green speed chassis, but just in terms of the fairing. I pulled up this photo, and I don't think that trike would be legal in today's regulations because it was so big. I've got a photo of him sitting in it, and it was probably about 1.5 meters wide and probably about 2 meters long. It was just like the biggest bathtub you've ever seen. But we had so much fun, and that was the start of it for me. So,
did you roll that? Were you able to roll it?
Oh, no, definitely not. It could probably roll forward before it rolled sideways.
Yeah.
It was, it was very stable. It was one of those touring trikes from Greenspeed, I reckon.
Okay.
So I think the track itself was probably about 1 meter. So definitely in today's standards. I don't know. A lot of the people that follow this podcast probably haven't seen anything like it. It's
cool.
so massive. But
yeah, I've got like one. Yeah, that was like one I had in primary school. It was so wide that you couldn't roll it. But I actually got my hands on it as in year 11 and successfully rolled it. It didn't have a fairing though. Small problem, it didn't have a fairing, and I was on a road.
That probably wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I got pretty good at wheeling, but then I just went straight over. So
did someone get a photo of this?
No, I was just sitting upside down on a road on the way to Victoria Park. It was great.
Did anyone even get to see it?
No, thankfully. I couldn't get up. It was like a turtle had fallen over. I was like, I can't get up.
Oh, no. Oh, it's not good at all. Yeah. But so from then on, I went to Peninsula private school, and we had a trike that was built by one of the year 12s as his final year project. Actually, no, it was built as his thesis at university. He built this absolutely unreal light thing that was called Too Fast, and the fairing actually weighed 6 kilos. Wow. I've got a photo of him holding them both up, and it was really light, but that was its downfall as well. We finished at Maryborough. We finished the race, but the thing was absolutely trashed. We spent a lot of time in the pits. It didn't have any carbon fiber in it. It was just a layer of really thin Kevlar, then about 6 mil of Nomex, and then one more layer of really thin Kevlar. And it didn't hold up. But the year after that, I built the next one myself using the same molds and the same trike. And that thing is still going around today. So that's 19 years old now. Yeah. It weighed 37 kilos. So it wasn't light, but that thing has taken an absolute hammering. It's been rolled that many times, and it's still strong as the day that it popped out of those molds.
No, it's so cool.
That's really good. So what was on from there? So you'd finished up at that school. So what was the progression from there on? Okay.
So, basically, Trikes in grade 6 with at Manalizer Primary. We called it Sparks back then. But that was what sparked me to start riding. And because we had lunchtime training sessions. So I'd ride my BMX. I was 2 Ks away from school, down to school with a few of my mates who were also in the team. We'd train during lunchtime a couple of times a week. And then we got fit and good bike riders. And then the next year, because I was already a swimmer at school, and I was all right at cross country as well. But then the next year, since I'd put all 3 together with the bike, I started to do triathlons. And I got myself a decent road bike and got pretty capable on the bike. And that's when in year 9, when we did it with Peninsula, I was actually able to race and be at the pointy end and had so much more fun. And then when we did it in year 10, we were one of the fastest teams on track when in the B category. We actually won the race for the B class that year, but we flopped the play. So, and at Maryborough, it's 50-50 back then. I think there was the 3 sections. There was the play, the race, and also the construction of the thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't win the overall, but we won the race by half a lap to, I think, Reload or Revolver back then. It was some yellow thing. It was it was one of the first clamshell ones, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So that was a pretty good achievement by us, because we had a crew of triathlon guys. It was good fun. So from then on, I went into a community team. I started racing for Tri-Sled at the very start. But things didn't go so well there. So I jumped ship and ended up on Tru Blu. And then that was an absolute, like an amazing team for me. My friendship group of all my friends today is all the Tru Blu guys. So that team sort of went a long way. We went to Murray Bridge, obviously. We started off in a Corflute trike. Then we ended up in the John Taylor fairing with the Michael Rogan frame, and started to go pretty well, and got a few national titles. And then after that, my cycling had started to sort of take precedence, and I got on Genesis Wealth Advisors back then in 2010, which was an NRS team. And I had to sort of step away from Trikes and head across to Europe and race professionally.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome, man. So we were actually talking to Brenton from World Racing, who said that he had to fill your spot in the team when you left to be a professional, which was a bit daunting for him, as you could imagine. So in talking cycling, man, you've had an awesome career, and you're still going, of course. What can you run us quickly through that career and what it's led to, as well as some of your achievements?
Yeah. So 2010, I started in Genesis. I did round 2 at Vic Park. Then the next week, I did my first road tour ever down at Tour of Gippsland. And I actually won one of the toughest stages into Lakes Entrance. And that was sort of the start of it. I won a couple of other races then that year. And then the next year, I won 17 NRS rounds, which is, I think that's still the record today, because there's not as much racing these days. So I might get to hold on to that one a lot longer, which is good. Speaking of, do you guys know the lap record for Casey outright in a race?
Oh, I don't.
I couldn't tell you. Have you still got it? Do you know if you still got it?
I'm not sure, but I originally said at the end of 2010, I'm not going to come back to Trikes until someone gets that record.
Ooh.
And
that was because I remember hearing a story that didn't you get it right at the end of a stint as well?
It was the last lap.
Wow.
Imagine that. That's very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's been beaten or not. I really want to know, because I'm trying to pick tabs. But same as the less racing for that other record, they don't do that long course anymore as often. So yeah, I've got to get the weather conditions pretty right to do that.
Yeah. I think doing it on the last lap of a stint, if anyone can set any lap record in the last lap of a stint.
That's always the best, isn't it? It makes it a good one to hold.
Yeah.
So, but I got antsy, and I'm like, I've got to come back. So I ended up jumping Relentless last year, and I've got the spark bag for it.
Yeah. Darcy, I remember I was boarding a plane and heading over to Adelaide, and I sat next to Steele, and we just got chatting, and I've never met someone that has so many photos on their phone. so many photos of everywhere he's been, and it was super cool. And it was great because Steele came over and joined us with Relentless. And our first race, we lost, didn't we? We got beat.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Waddle got one up on us, didn't they?
Yeah, and then we came back for the next round, and we just put it together. We raced with four of us in the team.
Yeah, 90 minutes each.
Yeah, and we got the win. We had a really good race, and then
they were both so close, weren't they?
What's that?
They were both within a lap, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's really hot racing.
Nice hot racing.
And then you went to Europe and you missed out on Murray Bridge, so
I'm
sorry. That's right. We didn't have that great of a race, so I think I know you were keen to race there, but hopefully you can get back there and
for sure. For sure, one day in the future. That's definitely on the bucket list to go back there. That was so much fun.
Yeah. So what do you think would be? We were talking before when I was introducing you, and I said I'd say that your highlight of your career would be the 2018 Commonwealth Games gold. Would you agree that would be the highlight?
Yeah, for sure.
Or do you reckon the lap record at Casey?
That'd be right up there, I reckon. That's sort of like set the precedent, hasn't it? It's like that's my achievement.
Yeah.
So in terms of my hobby now, which is trikes. So.
Yeah, we've been discussing lately about some future events and maybe how with racing trikes they could venture down a different pathway instead of a straight 6 hour or straight 24 hour. To make it a little bit more exciting, you could get in certain riders and race each other, but for more of a track setup or more of like a 20-minute all out kind of race. And it's just
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I knew that you'd love something like that. Yeah.
I think the Peninsula Trike Club that I think Tristan Wright runs with the Tri-Sled crew down at Casey. I think they do something similar to that. I was going through my photos as I was going in doing a cup, and I did see an invitation that for club members to come down and do this series of racing where it's like 3 laps or the 20 minutes, as you said. And I think it is out there, but it just needs to be to a wider audience. So you can get more clubs out there and make it a bigger thing. Yeah,
if they're watching, send us a message and we'll get one of them on and we can talk about it.
COVID right now, we can't do it. But
but I mean, even if we just chat to them about how they run it, and it'd be great to get all the super fast guys, different teams. I think it'd be cool to watch. Yeah, you'd even run the beats and
Yeah, I don't know, Sunday session doing it like that.
Yeah,
because that's when the Tru Blu guys used to go out there. We used to train for so the first 6 hours or whatever, and then sort of after lunch we'd go and have fish and chips together. It was great.
Yeah, nice.
Probably shouldn't advertise that though. That's what we did back then, and that's why we were so fast.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't be telling you all our secrets.
No.
Write that one down.
So you're because you did it twice, didn't you? You broke your neck.
Yeah. So I had 3 injuries, 3 months apart. So the first one was obviously 7 weeks before Com Games. I broke 6 vertebrae, couple in my neck and 4 in my thoracics, except none of them were in risk of causing my spine to be out of alignment, which meant that I wasn't in danger of any spinal cord damage. But so to do spinal cord damage, I would have had to have a crash just as significant as the first one, which, that's very rare. I've never done it in the last 30 years, so it would have been really bad luck to do it again. So I took the risk. It was only pain management that I had to gauge my comeback with. If the pain was too great, I had to back off, but it wasn't, and I was able to train and go out my door within 6 days. But I did use the trike trainer to sort of start getting the legs moving again, to sort of free up all my muscles that had just really tensed up after that crash and tensed up around my back and my neck. So I had a big pillow to support me, sat in that trainer, got very comfy, and I just spun my legs. I just started off with 10 minutes for the first day, just to get the blood flowing, and then sort of increased it until I was up to about 45 minutes on the trainer. And I still did that a little bit before I decided to jump back on the road bike. So I was doing mountain bike with all the suspension, with a reversed head stem, so I was really upright. I do have a photo of that, which is pretty funny, and Emma actually recorded me as she left to go to the Com Games to work, because she was one of the employees. She was driving out the driveway and I was riding along on the side. Just like, see you on the Gold Coast.
Bye. I'll see you in the Gold Coast. Bye.
And I said, yep, see you then. Like, we're just sort of having a bit of a joke then, because I sort of thought then it was a bit of a long shot to try and get there, but I was just going to try everything that I could to try and get there, because it was a really good course for me and a really good year, and a good opportunity being in Australia. So yeah, it all went really well, my recovery, and I ended up making it there, and of course I had a great result. So that's definitely the highlight of my career, getting that gold. But I was still sort of in limbo in terms of trying to get back to the professional ranks over in Europe. My career has sort of been a bit up and down, as a lot of people's have. I'd be really one of the luckier ones because I still got to experience the European lifestyle, and I still raced for a World Tour team. And yeah, just in 2018, I had that nasty crash, made the comeback, went across to Europe. I was on the podium again straight away over in Belgium. Everything was going really well. And then mid-Belgium stint, so 3 months after my first crash, I had another major crash and I broke another 2 vertebrae, scapula, a couple ribs. And I did a grade 1 AC joint and I just didn't know it at the time. I took 4 weeks of recovery, and that sort of ended my European campaign that year. Came back to Australia, started training again, in Tour of China. Exactly 3 months later again. Went over there, I was on the podium, I got second in one of the stages. Then the next day I was getting marked by one of the other sprinters, and he had a crash behind me. It was just up on my hip, fell into my back wheel, and my bike just went from under me. And this is 500 meters to go. We're going about 60 k's an hour again. And that underlying AC joint that I didn't know about because I thought it was just my scapula playing up, I did a grade 4 rupture, and which is not a very nice one. So I needed surgery to fix that AC joint. And that was a horrible time of my life because I flew back to Australia to try and not get infections because the Chinese hospitals were horrible. I can send some photos of that across to you if you'd like. It was pretty horrific. But I got golden staph in a hospital down here, and ended up being in there for 6 weeks on antibiotics that were on a bum bag that I was constantly getting. Then 8 months worth of antibiotics, pretty much, it ended my career as a professional. So I made the call then that I'd retire and make a comeback to Trikes. So that's when I jumped on board with Jason at Relentless, and started to really enjoy that again. So moving forwards, I've jumped on the road to ride for Inform, just at a NRS level. So I don't have any aspirations to go over to Europe again, but I just want to be able to mentor the young guys on the team and try and help them out and sort of teach them the craft and the sprints and just help out where I can. And also at the same time, obviously race Trikes. And with doing the more Ks on the road, I'll be faster and fitter at Trikes. So yeah, I'll have to try and keep fit just in case this KC record gets broken.
That sounds really good, mate. Like, after everything you've experienced, and to still be able to come back to support the sport and support these younger riders coming through the ranks and and I know that you just want the best out of them. Really, really good to hear. Obviously, not great to hear about what happened, but you're in good spirits about it. You've got fantastic memories. You got how many thousand photos for the last 11 years?
Last time I checked, I think it was just capping 40,000.
Yeah, wow.
And the locations are on most of them as well. So when I have that world map on Apple, you can zoom out, and it just has the little dots everywhere I've been. So it's pretty cool to look at those as memories.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds awesome, mate. And if you were to talk to, say a pro cyclist, like how would you describe what trike racing is to them?
Well, trike racing, there's actually a lot of guys that have previously done it. A lot over in Europe, I didn't really need to describe it to, because a lot of my friends like Jack Haig, Chris Hamilton, a lot of the Bendigo boys, of course in Bendigo, it's what you do when you're going through school, you race trikes. They've all raced them before, and I actually was speaking to one of my other mates, Rowan Dennis, the time trialist. He's like, "Nah, I never raced that." I'm like, "Oh, but you're from Adelaide, didn't you ever race Murray Bridge at school?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I did that once." So there's even some really top end world class riders that have raced the pedal prix. But for someone that hasn't, one of the European guys, I'd probably describe it as racing your push bike as fast as you can around a crit course. You're half the height and you can go twice as fast. So there's just no feeling like racing a trike, and you're just sitting on 65 k's an hour, hooking around a corner, and you're pressed up against the side of the canopy, and you're just trying not to roll it. You're lifting up on two wheels. It's fantastic, isn't it?
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is hard to describe the feeling to some cyclists, and it would be good to see a few more have a go, because I personally love it, and it's just so much fun. I always describe it, it's like a time trial mixed with go-karting. Like, it's just that really, really cool and fun aspect of like nailing every corner as fast as you can while, not trying to crash or bin it. But then, of course, there's all that pain and suffering. But I'm sure, it'd be cool to see what someone like Rowan Dennis could do in a trike. It'd be pretty scary, I think, but
there wouldn't be many more records to stand, would there? It'd just be too unachievable. So let's not get him back in a trike for a while.
No. We'll keep him retired from the sport. No, that sounds really cool, mate. And talking about future races, we heard rumours that you were keen to get the Tru Blu band back together and some of the guys back on board. How's all that looking?
Yeah. So that would be really cool if we could, because as I said before, our friendship group is mainly the Tru Blu guys. It's we spent so much time together and had so many good laughs. It has been quite a few years, and there's been quite a few kilos put on. But after the poll that came out the other day about the greatest trike team of all time, and we kept on progressing through the ranks, and then all of a sudden everyone was sort of on board it, and they're like, yeah, like everyone vote this week. And then we came runner up to G Trikes by 2 votes in the end, and that was a lot further than we actually thought that we would progress in that, because we thought we'd been gone and forgotten about. But a few of the guys got fire in their belly after that, and they're like, should we make a comeback? So there's been a bit of talk. But there's some guys that have a lot of weight to lose. So now the COVID down here isn't really helping that cause. So it's a bit of a dream at the moment. But I'm making a comeback, obviously. Like I'm keen to keep on going and make it my hobby again. I want to try and build a trainer so I can head down to Casey and get fit. So when I come and race with you boys over in Adelaide again, the rounds, and I can actually ride well. So I'm gonna try and give it a crack on making a trike. And I think if Tru Blu does come back, we'll have 2 trikes down there to train, and it will be really good.
All right, so Steele, we've got some quick fire questions for you. So are you ready, mate?
Yep.
All right, cool. So what's the fastest trike you have ever ridden?
Tru Blu.
Tru Blu?
Yeah, probably 2010. Tru Blu 2010.
All right. If you could make a change to pedal prix to improve it, what would you do to the sport?
I would limit the stints to maximum of 45 minutes per rider. This 90-minute stuff that's going on now is not cool.
All right, Steele. If you could ride a trike, a pedal prix car, down any road or any track in the world, where would you ride it?
Oh, but this is not a quick answer.
Right, you got
I
it
don't know.
quickly.
Murray Bridge, it's the best one.
All right. Yeah, that's good. They're iconic.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what's your favourite track, but that answers it. So my next quick fire question is, who was is your favourite training partner?
Favorite training partner. They alternate each year, whoever's committed at the time. But yeah, probably over in Europe, it would have been George Bennett.
Okay.
New Zealand.
Yeah, even though we're opposites, he's a climber and I'm a sprinter. We just got along really well. So, and he lived above me in our apartment block as well, which was also pretty cool.
All right, Steele. If there was any pro cyclist that would be the most dominating pedal prix rider in history, which one do you reckon they would be, or who would it be?
Let's not invite him back to the sport, but Rowan Dennis.
All right, Steele, this is my last quick fire question. Out of the entire history of your trike racing, what is the most impressive thing you have seen? Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be on the racetrack. It just has to be at a race or to do with a race.
Oh, can I think about this one?
You sure can.
You sure can.
Darcy will play some little music in here and
the ponder.
Put stock footage across.
I heard something the other day about swimming.
Like I've seen some pretty impressive saves, but that's not what's impressed me most. It's those really long stints that I just can't fathom how someone can sit in the trike. For me, it wasn't anything of my teammates doing, which they've done unreal things, but I think his name was Rowan. He raced for one of, I think it was BYR back in the day. He did a 3-hour session at the same pace as our fastest guys in our track.
Was this a 130?
No, Matt Leonard's done a 2.5-hour session at within 3 seconds of the fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
Because we've got that data, which was just an unreal stint.
Yeah.
But I wasn't at that race, so I didn't see that. So that wasn't a standout for me, even though I know of it. But it
Rowan, I remember seeing him.
Is it Rowan Service?
Yeah, he was in Anchorage. I'm pretty sure he's brothers to Russ and Taz, isn't he?
I think so. Both from Bendigo. But I think it was Rowan. I don't remember if it was BYR or Judge Nudge or one of those ones. But I just remember he was going around for 3 hours and just dominated. Yeah. And just put their team so far in front.
Crazy. I wonder if he still rides a bike at all, but yeah.
I hope so. I hope he's going to make a comeback to Trikes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Although he'll be another Rowan Dennis case. It's like we want to see you back, but we don't want to race you. You're too good.
All right. So I've got my last question here. If you could go back to any of the trike races, the pedal prix races that you've ever done to relive it, what race would that have been?
To relive it, to undo a mistake.
Not to undo a mistake, but just to relive the atmosphere, relive the pain and suffering and the glory.
For sure, the first time that we won Murray Bridge in 2009, that was unreal. It was our first time racing the John Taylor Tru Blu truck, and that thing absolutely hammered. We got the distance record at the time, and just the atmosphere and the team that we had was so good.
Steele, it's been an absolute honour to have you on the show. I really look forward to actually sitting down and watching this one myself. It's it's awesome to hear that you're doing really well. And fingers crossed that Melbourne can, get better and pick up from here. So yeah, we're just really happy to have you on and really excited to see you in the sport in the future. So you're doing awesome things. Darcy, what's going on for our next episode?
Next episode, more special guests as usual. Always special guests. You don't know who they are. We might not, but there are going to be more special guests coming. So for the last time, thanks for jumping on the show. It's it's been real. So thanks for having us on the show, and thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a good one.
No worries. So we'll see you all for Talking Trikes, episode 8. Goodbye for now.
Hey guys.